We met at a catering event at my grandmother's house. Kat and her Tita Arlene were catering for the office. I believe it was an office party sometime
January.
2005.
Yeah, first week of January, we were catering. I was extremely tired and I was seated in a corner and Marco bothered me.
I just saw a lonely girl in the corner of the room, just trying to be a gentleman.
He approached me. I was with Tita Arlene, but Tita Arlene, as usual, would come back and forth. And we talked for about 2 hours.
Yeah, which means you were pretty interested.
But you were there and you were technically kind of my client.
And I was the host.
You weren't the host, Tita Edith was the host.
Well, I work for Tita Edith.
So he was my client. That's why I had to entertain him a little bit, even if I was tired.
Of course, I was waiting somewhere, you know. Kat approached me, tried to pick me up. I had to refuse her a few times, but I gave in after a while.
No. We met. After we met, you invited me to go out.
Oh, yeah.
You invited me to go out that night, and I said no. You asked me if I wanted to go to Nouveau.
Yep,
And
that's correct.
I said no. And then he saw me there that evening. So he thought I blew him off. But I really wasn't planning to go, and my uncles were pestering me to go. And then...
We never saw each other for
A few
11
months.
months after that.
Oh, you're counting!
I know, I'm counting.
Was it 11 months?
Yeah, because you told me. So
Was
which
it
means that
11?
you were the one counting.
We
You
saw each other.
couldn't wait to see me next.
We saw each other here, my mom's house.
That's right.
He came here, and I said, "Oh, so what are you doing here?" He said, "Oh yeah, I just decided to drop by." He lives in Dasma, and he came all the way here to drop by.
I came here to pick up Chico because we had the early flight the next
Chico
morning back
had
to
a car.
No, he didn't. He rode with me.
Chico had a car.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway.
Next question.
Anyway, no, and then after that, we saw each other in Fiamma. Was it Fiamma already? Oh no. Before that, you saw me in Rockwell, and you pretended to be on the phone.
Yeah, but before that too, I tried to invite you for dinner, but you blew me off. You were in Cavite for some kind of office party.
Oh yeah, I had an out-of-town trip,
Yeah.
which really happened.
Okay, so continue. After
And then we saw each other in Fiamma.
And-
About a couple of weeks after he came to the house, we saw each other in Fiamma. And you know what he said to me? I said, "Hi," he said. And then you were staring at me the whole evening.
How would you know that? If you think that I was staring
ask
at you,
Howard. Ask Howard.
that means then obviously you were staring at me.
Howard told me everything already from
Don't
your
listen
side.
to Howard. He doesn't know anything.
So after coming here, we entertained him, we accepted him and everything. He just did this. And then just stared at me the entire evening.
Can you blame somebody for staring at a beautiful woman at a bar? What am I supposed to do?
Okay, good answer.
Obviously, it was Kat courting me. I'm a pretty busy guy with a busy schedule. And, she had to...
We started out as friends. We would go out, drinking mostly. Maybe you should edit that part. With Michelle, Melda, Oz. Because Michelle, my maid of honor, lives on the same street as 121. So we would be there a few nights a week.
That was before Michelle left for Hawaii.
For Hawaii, yeah.
That was when?
I don't know when she left. I think it was March. I can't remember. Yeah, so we started out as friends. We were hanging out.
Yeah.
It wasn't a typical courtship in a sense that, he came here bringing flowers and we go out on several dates, and it wasn't a Filipino kind of courtship. It was more like we were hanging out, we were spending time with each other, getting to know each other, and then things just happen.
And then before you know it, you're going out. Before you know it, we're engaged. Before you know it, it's a week and a half and we're getting married. The proposal was made in Europe. We were in Europe from the end of October to the end of November.
About a month.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't a typical proposal. It wasn't a surprise. I know Marco's been telling his cousins that it was so romantic, but we actually talked about it. And our trip started from Paris, ended in Amsterdam. We first started talking about it in Paris, and we ended in Amsterdam. At Koster, where we bought the ring. And basically the whole time we were just talking about what we would think would be, maybe it's not as romantic, but what we thought was important, the negotiables and non-negotiables, or what we both expect out of getting married and being together for the rest of our lives. And then when we were at Koster, and when we bought the engagement ring, this part is true. I know Marco was saying there were tears and everything. When he was paying for the ring, there were really tears.
It was tears of joy.
There were really tears.
It was tears
Even
of joy.
the sales lady said, it's okay. He was crying when he was paying for the ring. That was really true.
Okay, I will admit that I was crying, but it was only crying because I was buying the ring for you.
You were crying because it's expensive.
Come on. I'm a cheap guy, I know.